get a little weird. Is anyone at least a little bit buzzed yet? Alright. So, I think we can all agree that our childhood education has mostly failed us. I mean, is there anything from home ed or phys ed that's still relevant to you today? I mean, when's the last time you played soccer or sewed a pig pillow together? I know I would be a lot better if I had learned how to shoot pool or how to play poker. And then there are those awkward and complicated social situations that we stumble upon in our adulthood. And, you know, sometimes the party takes you places you didn't really plan on going. And wouldn't it have been nice if you at least had a basic map in order to better navigate those weird off-ramps? Because, you know, excuse me, so those weird off-ramps. I mean, we wasted so much time learning about algebra instead of learning those really important life skills like what the hell are you supposed to do when you find yourself unexpectedly hosting your first impromptu orgy. I mean, these things, believe it or not, they can and do happen in life. And your first orgy is a lot like your first child, unplanned. And there's all these books out there to help you with your first kid, but I'm here to help you in the scenario that you find yourself hosting your first spontaneous sex party. And this is a list of 16 DIY rules for hosting your first orgy. Now, rule number 1, if your kinky, poly, bisexual female artist friends invite you out to a fetish-themed dance party, and you end up smoking up with a bunch of burners sporting Dayglow face paint and bondage gear while selling homemade glass dildos on a blanket, you're probably going to end up in an orgy later in the night, and it's important to think ahead and plan accordingly, which brings us to rule number 2, stop drinking. And if you're an asshole and you end up ignoring this rule, at least do yourself the favor of ignoring the whiskey, and particularly anything with the word old in its title. No old hat, no old crow, no old granddad. Now, rule number 3, always be wary of the middle-aged Asian guy wearing sunglasses indoors who has a large DSLR camera around your neck. Because if you end up with your pants down past your knees while some professional dominatrix wearing a horse saddle on her back has convinced you to get flogged in the corner of the dance party, you're going to find pictures of that in Facebook in about a week, and that can be problematic if you work in a public office. So rule number 4, when that fetish party is coming to an end and your kinky, poly, bisexual female artist friends tell you, not ask you, that they're going to crash at your house for the night and they're bringing along 5 of their new best friends, you need to know shit's about to get real. So it's important to keep a clean house with lots of wide and open spaces for play, because you won't believe just how easy it is for drunk burners to injure themselves on stationary furniture. It's also beneficial to keep a stack of clean towels, a box of baby wipes, an assortment of water and silicone-based lube, and condoms, a lot of condoms. Just keep a bucket of condoms around because you never know when you might need them. Now, rule number 5 is that reality is very different from fantasy and pornography. Orgies can be exciting. They're also really, really, really awkward. They're nothing like your Games of Thrones or those online videos you've been watching late at night while practicing your Vulcan death grip. Be prepared for strange sounds and even stranger smells. Rule number 6 is that the women make all the rules, regardless if they identify as a sub or a dom or a switch or whatever wacky titles people are giving themselves these days. Rule number 7 is to be courteous and not to compare yourself to others. When you're in a room full of naked drunk strangers all trying to get off, it's inevitable that people are going to be attracted to some but not others. The darker side of orgies is that they can end up feeling like a high school dance. All of that yearning, leading to rejection that leads to devastating insecurity. But it's okay to say no thank you, and it's even more important to respect and adhere to a no thank you. Now, rule number 8 goes back to rule number 5. The idea of having 3 very attractive strangers burying their crotch in your face or burying their faces into your crotch at the same time might sound really hot, but in actuality, it's kind of intimidating. Fuck that, it's terrifying. So rule number 9, don't throw up. Now, rule number 10 might be linked to rule number 8, but it's more likely a result of number 2, where you should have stopped drinking earlier in the night. If you find yourself unable to perform in one way, just play it cool and be well adversed in doing other things. But unless you got to spins, if you got to spins, it's time to just call it quits before you break rule number 9. Rule number 11. Forget everything you read by Charles Bukowski. Only remember that he was an asshole. Taking handfuls of vitamin E and zinc is not going to cure drinking too much whiskey. Viagra is your only way out of that, so keep a personal reserve of that for special occasions. Rule number 12. When a woman whose name you don't know approaches you and tells you that she just called her fiance and got permission to participate and wants you to do something very specific to her, you have to realize that Philadelphia is a really small city. And so if you go through with this, there's a good likely chance that you're going to run into her and her fiance and her 2 teenage children at a future work event, and it's going to be super fucking weird for everyone involved. Rule 13, when you go to the bathroom at the end of the night or morning after an orgy, always do an automatic flush check before opening that toilet lid. Because if someone took a number 2 after doing a lot of things with a lot of people, you're going to bear witness to something that you cannot unsee. Something that might resemble the afterbirth of a parasitic mutant sewer-dwelling parasite from an episode of X-Files. Rule number 14, never host an orgy on a work night because no one is going to wake up and get out of your house anytime before noon. Making really strong coffee and cooking delicious Greek omelets for everyone is futile. You're going to your job 4 hours late. Rule number 15, if you hear knocking on your door at 9 a.m. after an orgy, don't answer because nothing good is going to come of it. It's either the police or really pissed off neighbors. Now, rule 16, if you do answer that door and it turns out to be a pair of Jehovah's Witnesses, don't say anything. Just open the door wide enough so they can see the naked couple that you don't know, who've already waken up and are starting to play on your living room couch. And those are the 16 rules. The DIY list of rules to do when you find yourself hosting an orgy you had no idea that you were going to host. And normally I say thank you at the end of these things, but tonight I'm going to say you're welcome.